Good morning and welcome back to another video, and today we are going to be going over the Sunwell Pets Gold Farm. Let us begin. Okay, so much like the Sunwell Trash Gold Farm, we're going to be doing the Sunwell Pets Gold Farm. This one is relatively simple. All you have to do is run into the actual instance, and along with that we're basically going to be running it just like the Trash Gold Farm. This is relatively simple by gathering up all of the mobs in the vicinity and by doing it as such. All you have to do is just gather these guys up like we did in the Trash Gold Farm. So farming up the trash, a brief little overview, you can get all of the Fellsteel recipes from these mobs, and that means that you have a chance of getting some stuff that is worth at least around about 600,000 gold just by doing this. So you could also pair this with the Trash Gold Farm by gathering up all of the trash at the beginning 9 times, and then on the 10th run you can go for the full clear. This would actually pair quite nicely with the actual gold farm in general, especially if you have a load of ults that you can actually run with this. Along with that, if you're actually farming this up, you can also just go over towards Worth It and have a look at the items of note that you can actually obtain. You can obtain things like the Chaos Pup, the Sunblade Micro Defender, and the Wretched Servant. So one little side note that you may want to bear in mind is the RP dialogue within the actual dungeon. You'll want to mount up literally on the edge, because as soon as you run past it will trigger the event. What you'll really be wanting to do is just beeline it before the actual wall freezes over and you cannot jump through. This works best with a mount, as if you are still in combat like me, when you're in your travel form you can actually not get through there. This is just a little side note to actually watch it all play out just a little bit. However, when it actually comes towards everything, it just means that you are closer to the boss once he is actually able to be targeted. Along with that, Brutalis actually drops the Sunblade Micro Defender. Once defeating him, you actually have the chance of obtaining said item, and overall these battle pets tend to sell rather well in the auction house. I remember a day when the Sunblade Micro Defender was a hell of a lot more gold than it originally was with everything else. However, if we are looking for things like the Chaos Pup, you can actually obtain one of these for around about 1,300 gold. However, if you get it to level 25 on Squirt Day, you can sell it for roughly around about 2,000 gold. Along with the Sunblade Micro Defender, you can actually bump this up to around about 4,000 gold from the original Sunblade 67 gold. So you could essentially buy this off of the auction house, level it up to 25 on the Squirt Day, and then sell that on and not have to do the raid. That's one thing you may want to bear in mind, because the Sunblade Micro Defender actually is a very good battle pet for pet battles in general. Along with this, you can also do the exact same with the Wretched Servant, which you get from the next boss. Realistically, I would do this on a character that can actually obtain the bow, because I've got it on my mage and I have got it on my priest, which the bow is pretty cool, but I haven't actually got it as collected as an appearance because it's on 2 characters that cannot use bows, which is quite annoying to say the least. And that is exactly the same with my Thunder Fury Blessed Blade of the Windseeker. Along with that, I would just pair this with the Trash Gold Farm. However, with the battle pets in general, and then just waiting for Squirt Day, makes it quite viable. It used to be viable on its own. However, since obviously a lot of changes took place, a lot of prices did drop when it comes towards farmed pets and everything and materials, and thus trying to take it a step further when it comes towards everything else is probably your best bet with this actual dungeon. Don't get me wrong, this raid is actually one of the best. It just is high RNG when you're actually trying to go for some of these higher ticket items just in general. And these 2 sisters have the ability to drop the Wretched Servant battle pet, which is the one that I wanted to actually show you guys. Once that is done, you're pretty much done with the raid. You can just dreamwalk out, but if you do still wish to try and get your hold of the legendary bow for yourself, not just for gold making, then you can do that also by making your way over to kill 𝐆𝐀𝐌𝐄, as there's only one other boss that is in between all of that. However, if you're going for additional loot, then you can just gather up all of these demons that are just dotted around the area that have the same amount of chance of dropping some of these Fellsteel recipes that you can actually obtain, and it just works out quite well if you're going for all of that to go along with that. Other than that guys, if you want any other additional gold making resources or just in general video guides going over how to do each and every method, then you can find my modules on my website for DalaGGstudios.com, which is linked to my Patreon. Other than that, have an awesome rest of the day, and I shall see you in the next video, which will be soon.